All right, get ready, because today we're diving deep into Albania.
Ooh, Albania.
We've got this incredible book.
Okay.
It's called Wonders of Albania, and let me tell you, it's packed with everything you need to know about this Balkan gem. We're
Right.
talking history,
Right.
culture, those incredible landscapes you see all over Instagram.
Yeah.
We are covering it all today.
I'm excited.
So by the end of this deep dive,
That's right.
you'll be dropping Albanian facts left and right.
Yeah.
But you'll also get a feel for what makes this country so special.
I
Who knows? Maybe this will even spark your next travel adventure.
hope so.
So first things first, we're even IS Albania.
Right.
Paint me a picture.
Okay, well, imagine this. A land where the mountains tower over the Adriatic Sea.
Ooh.
That contrast, you have the rugged landscape on one side and the crystal clear water on the other.
Okay, I'm starting to picture it.
That's one of the first things that will strike you when you think about Albania.
I see. How does that play into Albania's story? Geographically speaking, I mean.
Well, it's had a huge role in shaping its history and culture.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. Albania sits right on the Adriatic.
Right.
And that's such a strategic location. It's been a crossroads of civilizations for centuries.
Oh, wow.
It's been a bridge between the East and West, different cultures meeting.
Right.
Sometimes it's even been a battleground.
Oh, a battleground for empires.
Exactly.
So many layers of history there.
So many.
Speaking of history, let's rewind the clock way back.
Okay.
Before the Romans, before the Ottomans, who were the OG inhabitants?
Oh, we're talking about the Illyrians.
The Illyrians.
Yes. Fiercely independent tribes. They had their own distinct culture and language.
Wow.
They built these fortified cities.
Really?
They had a complex social structure, so these were not people you wanted to mess with.
Interesting.
And this is important. If you want to understand Albania
Mm-hmm.
and the Albanian spirit, you have to understand the Illyrians.
Oh, I see.
That fierce independence, that strong sense of identity,
Right.
it all goes back to the Illyrians.
So it's all rooted in these ancient beginnings.
Exactly.
I'm sensing a theme here already.
Well, good.
So tell me more about these Illyrians. What stories or figures stand out from this time?
Let me think. Well, one figure who really embodies that independent spirit is Queen Tuta.
Queen Tuta.
Yeah, she actually challenged the Roman Republic.
What?
Can you imagine that?
Wow.
This is back in the 3rd century BC.
Okay.
She led her people against Rome,
Wow.
defending their land and their way of life.
That's incredible.
The real fighter.
Yeah, that's way more captivating than a name and a date in a history book.
I know, right?
So obviously the Romans eventually had their influence.
Of course.
All these empires, the Romans, Byzantines, the Ottomans.
Right.
How did they shape what we see in Albania today?
Well, think of it like a cake.
Okay.
Each empire left its mark layer by layer.
Okay.
So the Romans built the roads and cities. The Byzantines brought Christianity.
Yeah, okay.
Then you have the Ottomans who brought Islam and their style of architecture.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
all there. You can see it everywhere.
Woven into the landscape?
Yeah, woven into the culture.
Yeah.
It's just part of Albanian life now.
It's fascinating, all those influences.
It is.
Okay, so we've got this ancient foundation, a mix of empires and religions.
Okay.
How did that impact the Albanian language?
Well, the language itself is a testament to all of that history.
Right.
It's Indo-European, but it has very unique characteristics, its own sounds and structures.
Oh.
And get this,
Yeah.
it's one of the oldest languages in Europe.
Wow.
Imagine the words spoken today.
Yeah.
They echo through the centuries. You can hear the Illyrian, the Roman, the Byzantine.
That gives me chills.
I know, right?
You're making me want to learn a few phrases.
You should.
So after all that history, let's fast forward to modern Albania.
Okay, sounds good.
Where do we even begin?
I think a good place to start is Tirana.
Tirana, the capital.
It's like the heart of Albania,
Yeah.
full of energy, creativity,
Right.
and that blend of old and new we've been talking about.
Okay, so it's more than just your typical capital city.
Oh, definitely.
What sights or experiences would you say really capture the essence of Tirana?
Good question. Well, one place that really embodies that blend is Skanderbeg Square.
Skanderbeg Square.
Yes, it's named after Albania's national hero, George Kastrioti Skanderbeg.
Okay.
He fought the Ottomans in the 15th century,
Right.
and there's this grand statue of him right in the square,
Wow.
a symbol of Albanian resistance and identity.
Powerful.
And all around the square, you see these buildings.
Okay.
Some are from the Ottoman period, some from the Italian fascist era, and some from the socialist period.
It's like a history lesson all in one place.
Exactly.
What else is there to see in Tirana?
Well, if you're interested in art and history,
I'll wait.
you have to visit the National Historical Museum.
Okay.
It's got a fascinating collection, and it takes you on this journey through Albania's past.
Oh, wow.
You'll see Illyrian artifacts, Roman mosaics, Byzantine icons, even things from the communist era.
So like walking through a timeline of Albanian history.
It is all under one roof.
That sounds amazing. A great way to get a sense of the historical context.
It is.
Anything else that captures that Tirana spirit?
Well, for a glimpse into the religious diversity, you can go to the Ethembe Mosque.
Okay.
Beautiful example of Ottoman architecture.
Really?
Yeah, with its elegant dome and minaret.
Wow.
And it's this reminder that Albania has a long history of tolerance. Muslims and Christians living peacefully side by side for centuries.
That's really important, especially in today's world.
So important.
And since we're talking about different eras, what about the communist era?
Oh, yeah.
You mentioned remnants of it in the museum.
Yeah.
Is there a place where people can really experience that part of Albania's past?
There is. It's one of the most unique museums I've ever been to.
What is it?
It's called Bunkart 1.
Bunkart 1.
And get this, it's in a former nuclear bunker.
You're kidding?
Yep.
A museum in a nuclear bunker. That's wild.
I know, right?
What's it like?
Well, it's fascinating, a little sobering.
Mm-hmm.
It gives you this glimpse into Albania's communist past.
Yeah.
So the bunker itself is impressive. It was designed to withstand a nuclear attack.
Wow.
And the exhibits inside tell you about life under communist rule.
Right.
Albania's isolation, the cult of personality around the leader.
Yeah, Enver Hoxha.
Exactly.
Interesting.
It's a reminder of the past, but also about how resilient Albania is, how the country has transformed.
That's incredible. I'm putting Bunkart 1 on my list.
You should.
But before we move on from Tirana,
Okay.
we've talked about history and culture.
Mm-hmm.
But what about the modern vibe? Is it all about the past, or is there a modern energy too?
Oh, Tirana is definitely not stuck in the past. It embraces its history, but it's also looking towards the future. There's this vibrant energy there, like a youthful spirit. It's contagious.
Okay, good. I was hoping you'd say that.
Yeah.
So what does that look like? What are the specifics?
Well, Tirana has a really thriving arts and culture scene.
Okay.
Think like cool cafes, art galleries showcasing both traditional and modern Albanian art. There's live music.
Oh, nice.
Everything from jazz to rock to electronic music. You can really feel that creative pulse.
Right, so it's not all museums and historical sites.
No, not at all.
What about for those of us who like to explore a city on foot?
Yes.
Is Tirana a walking city?
Absolutely. Tirana is very walkable, and that's one of the best ways to experience it.
Okay.
Like you could wander through the Bloku district. It used to be restricted to Communist Party elites.
Oh, wow.
But now it's this trendy hub, you know, with boutiques and bars and restaurants.
So it's had a bit of a transformation.
Oh, yeah. Or you could stroll along the Lana River. It flows right through the city, and it's been revitalized with parks and promenades. It's really nice.
That sounds lovely.
Yeah, there's always something new to discover.
That's what I love about exploring new cities, that sense of discovery.
For sure.
Okay, so we've got this vibrant capital city, but I know a lot of people think of Albania and they think of the coastline.
Right.
Is the hype real?
Oh, it's very real. The Albanian Riviera, I mean, come on, we're talking about those pristine beaches.
Yeah.
Those turquoise waters, the cliffs meeting the sea.
Like you see in the magazines.
Exactly like that. It's breathtaking, and there's a real variety there, too.
Okay, break it down for me.
Okay.
Different vibes, different experiences. What could I have along the Riviera?
Well, if you're looking for a lively beach town, like with a bit more of a party atmosphere, Saranda's the place to be.
Saranda.
It's got a beautiful bay, tons of restaurants and cafes, and the nightlife is buzzing.
All right, that sounds fun.
Think beach parties, music, people dancing in the streets.
Okay, sounds like my kind of place.
Yeah.
But what if I'm looking for something a bit more laid back?
Oh,
It can be a little more off the beaten path.
Then Ksamil is calling your name.
Camel.
It's smaller, known for its stunning beaches,
Okay,
crystal clear waters, and it's got a more relaxed vibe.
nice, nice.
And here's the thing. Just off the coast of Samel, there are these little islands.
Oh, wow.
You can swim to them or take a boat, your own private island.
Oh, my goodness, that sounds like paradise.
It's pretty great.
But let's say I'm really seeking tranquility,
Okay,
ultimate relaxation mode.
gotcha. then Dermi is the place.
Jeremy.
Picture this, a village nestled amongst olive groves and vineyards.
Okay.
Beautiful beach that goes on for miles.
Wow.
It's just tranquility, amazing sunsets, and you really feel like you're away from it all.
I'm already feeling more relaxed just thinking about it.
Right.
But before we move on, I have to ask about the water itself.
Mm-hmm.
What's the Adriatic like? Good for swimming, snorkeling, that kind of thing?
The Adriatic along the Albanian Riviera, oh, it's perfect for that.
Yeah.
The water's so clear, you know?
Yeah.
It's great for snorkeling, for diving, and there are these boat tours you can take.
Oh,
And they take you to hidden coves, sea caves, even some shipwrecks.
Wow, what an experience. Okay, so we've covered the capital, the coast.
Right?
What about those UNESCO World Heritage sites we mentioned earlier?
Oh, yeah.
I'm always drawn to places with that kind of historical significance.
Well, Albania has some truly remarkable UNESCO sites.
Yeah.
They each tell a different part of the country's story, like Butrint.
Butrint, okay.
Imagine exploring these ancient ruins, Greek, Roman, Byzantine. They're all layered on top of each other.
Wow.
And it's all set against this backdrop of a lake and these rolling hills.
I can picture it.
Yeah, it's a visual feast.
Amazing. What about Gjirokastër?
Oh, yes,
I
Gjirokastër.
remember that name from our outline.
It's called the City of Stone.
Okay.
And it really is like stepping back in time. The Ottoman architecture is so well preserved. Cobblestone streets, traditional stone houses.
Wow.
And there's this massive castle on a hilltop overlooking everything.
It sounds incredible.
It's like a living museum.
Okay, so far we've hit a lot of the highlights.
Yeah, the main attractions.
The places you'd see in any travel brochure. But I'm curious about the lesser-known spots.
Right.
The hidden gems that most tourists might not know about.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like that's where you find the real magic.
Absolutely. And Albania has so many of those.
Okay, I like that. Give me some examples.
Okay, well, one that comes to mind is Berat,
Berat. Okay.
another UNESCO city known for its Ottoman architecture.
Okay.
But what's unique about Berat is that it's built on a hillside.
Oh, wow.
These houses just cascading down towards the Osum River.
I see.
And it's called the City of a Thousand Windows.
Really?
Because of the way the sun reflects off the windows on the hillside, it's stunning.
Yeah, Berat's on my list now.
Yeah.
What other surprises does Albania have in store for us?
How about a natural wonder?
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Have you ever heard of the Blue Eye Spring?
I have not.
Okay, so it's this natural spring, incredibly deep.
Okay.
And the water is so clear and blue, it looks like an eye staring right at you.
Wow.
And nobody knows exactly how deep it is. Divers have gone down over 50 meters.
Oh, that's deep.
And still haven't reached the bottom.
Oh, my goodness.
It's surrounded by all this lush vegetation, and the water is so cold and refreshing, it's a magical place.
I'm sensing a theme here. Albania is full of surprises.
Okay, so we've got the historic cities, the coastlines, natural wonders. What about for the adventure seekers out there? Does Albania deliver on that front?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, we haven't even gotten to the best part when it comes to Albania's natural beauty.
Okay, let's hear it.
Let's talk about the Albanian Alps.
The Albanian Alps?
Yeah, also known as the Accursed Mountains,
Oh.
or Prokletije. These are some of the most rugged, unspoiled mountains in Europe.
Think towering peaks, deep canyons, glacial lakes, dense forests.
I'm picturing those Instagram-worthy landscapes.
Exactly. It's a hiker's paradise.
Okay, but give me some specifics. What kind of adventures could I have in the Albanian Alps?
Well, there are hiking trails for every level. From easy walks to multi-day treks. You could go whitewater rafting on the rivers.
Oh, wow.
You can explore canyons, go rock climbing.
That's amazing.
And if you're really lucky, you might spot a brown bear or a wolf in the wild.
Okay, now that's an adventure. What are some places or trails that you would recommend for those venturing into the Albanian Alps?
Well, two villages that are great starting points are Theth and Valbona.
Devendobona.
They're both in the heart of the Alps, surrounded by stunning scenery. Theth is known for being really isolated.
Okay.
And for its traditional way of life, you can only reach it by this rugged mountain road.
Wow.
And the villagers there, they still practice those ancient customs and traditions.
So it's a cultural experience as much as a natural one.
It really is.
What about Valbona? What makes that village special?
Well, Valbona is located in this beautiful valley. It's a bit more developed than Sith,
Okay.
but it still has that Albanian charm, you know?
Right.
And it's a great base for exploring the Valbona Valley National Park.
Nice.
It's known for its hiking trails, its waterfalls, and just stunning views.
That sounds lovely.
And there's a famous trek that connects Theth and Valbona.
Oh, wow.
It takes you over a mountain pass, panoramic views the whole way. It's a must-do.
My hiking boots are ready. Okay, before we gear up for a trek, I want to circle back to something we touched on earlier, Albanian culture.
Okay.
We've talked about the layers of history, the blend of influences,
Right.
but what are some specific customs or traditions that capture Albanian culture?
Well, one tradition that's really important is besa.
Besa.
It means word of honor or promise, you know?
Okay.
It's this core value that governs how people interact.
Okay.
It's all about loyalty, trust, keeping your word. It's about honoring your commitments no matter what.
So it's more than just a word, it's a way of life.
Exactly.
I see. And how does that manifest in everyday life for Albanians?
Well, you'll see it in the way they treat guests, for example.
Okay.
Hospitality is so important in Albanian culture.
Mhm.
It's an honor to welcome people into your home.
I like that.
And you'll be offered food, drinks, made to feel welcome, even if you're a complete stranger.
That's so nice.
It's all part of besa, upholding that code of honor.
Right, showing respect.
Exactly.
I love that it's a reminder that sometimes the simplest things, like genuine hospitality, can have the biggest impact.
Couldn't agree more.
Okay, what other cultural elements should we explore?
Let's talk about music. Albanian music is incredibly diverse.
Okay,
It really reflects all those layers of history we've been talking about.
I see.
So there's traditional folk music, which is often kind of melancholic and soulful,
Okay.
and it uses instruments like the siftali.
Specifically.
Yeah, it's a two-stringed lute, and then there's the lahuta, which is a kind of fiddle.
Interesting. And I remember you mentioning the valley, a traditional dance, right?
Yes. The Valid, it's a lively circle dance. They perform it at weddings, festivals, all sorts of celebrations.
Uh-huh.
It's full of energy, and it's a great way to experience the culture, firsthand.
I bet. So we've got the traditional side covered.
Mm-hmm.
What about modern Albanian music?
Oh, there's a contemporary scene, too.
Can you tell me more?
Especially in Tirana,
Yeah.
There are all these venues showcasing everything from rock and pop to jazz and electronic music.
It's really diverse.
It is, and you'll find Albanian musicians blending traditional sounds with modern ones. It's really cool.
Oh, that fusion of old and new. I love that.
It's really interesting.
Okay, before we wrap up, I want to touch on food.
All right.
What's Albanian cuisine all about?
Oh, Albanian food is a delight. It's like this blend of Mediterranean, Balkan, and Ottoman influences.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of influences.
I know. And the focus is on fresh, local ingredients. So think grilled meats, fresh seafood, hearty stews, flavorful cheeses, and those amazing olive oils that Albania is known for.
Okay, I'm getting hungry just listening to you. What are some dishes that I absolutely have to try when I'm there?
Okay, well, one dish that you can't miss is byrek.
Byrek, okay.
It's a flaky pastry filled with cheese, spinach, or meat. You can get it everywhere.
Oh, that sounds good.
Like bakeries, street vendors. It's delicious.
Byrek is on the list. What else?
Another classic is tavikosi.
Tavikosi.
Yeah, it's a baked dish made with lamb and yogurt, super flavorful and hearty.
Okay.
And then for something lighter, you can't go wrong with a fresh salad.
Yeah, I love a good salad.
With Albanian tomatoes, cucumbers, and olive oil, the flavors are incredible.
Oh my goodness, my mouth is watering.
I know, right?
Okay, but before we completely lose ourselves in the culinary delights of Albania, I want to bring up something important. Sustainable travel.
Yes, good point.
We've talked about all these amazing places and experiences, but how can we as visitors make sure we're exploring responsibly and respectfully?
That's a really important question, and it's something we should all be thinking about, especially as Albania becomes more popular.
For sure.
I think one key thing is supporting local businesses.
Okay.
Choosing family-run restaurants, staying in local guest houses, shopping at local markets, putting those tourist dollars directly into the hands of the people.
That makes sense. What about in terms of environmental impact? What can we do to minimize our footprint?
Well, one simple thing is to choose eco-friendly accommodations.
Right.
Places that are trying to reduce their impact.
Yeah, whether it's energy, water, or waste.
Exactly. And of course, be mindful of your own actions, avoid single-use plastics, use public transportation when you can,
Right.
and just respect the environment.
All right. Those are all great tips. It's a good reminder that sustainable travel is about making choices that benefit everyone.
It really is.
Okay, we've covered a lot in this deep dive. Ancient history, vibrant cities, coastlines, mountains, and even Albanian culture.
We have.
But there's one element we haven't fully explored, and it's a crucial one. the Albanian people themselves.
You're right. We've talked about the places, the food, the history, but it's the people who really bring it all to life, you know?
Exactly. And what can you tell us about the Albanian people? What are they like? What do they value?
Well, one thing that struck me right away was their warmth and their hospitality. It's not just being polite, it's genuine, you know?
Yeah, I can imagine. And you said there's a strong sense of community.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Very strong. There's this tradition of welcoming guests. Like with open arms, they offer food and drink, make you feel at home.
That's so nice to hear, especially in a world that can feel so disconnected sometimes.
I know, right?
Anything else that stands out about the Albanian character?
Well, they have this incredible resilience,
Mm-hmm.
this strength that comes from having endured so much, you know, throughout their history.
Right, we've talked about all the different empires and influences.
Invasions, occupations, political upheavals.
Yeah.
But they've held on to their identity, their traditions, their spirit.
That's inspiring. And there's that pride you mentioned.
Oh, yeah, definitely. A fierce pride in being Albanian, a love for their country and its heritage.
I'm noticing a theme here.
Mm.
It's that connection to the past,
Yeah.
that sense of identity that comes from their history. But at the same time, a willingness to look forward, to embrace the future. It's really interesting how those things coexist.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? That's what makes Albania so captivating, you know?
Yeah, it really does.
It's ancient and modern, traditional and progressive.
Mhm.
You can explore ancient ruins one day,
Mhm.
then sip espresso in a trendy cafe the next.
Right.
Then you could be sharing a meal with a local family that night.
Wow.
Hearing their stories passed down through generations. It's incredible.
Okay, you've definitely sold me on Albania. I want to go. But before we wrap up this deep dive, I want to make sure our listeners have those key takeaways, those things they can impress their friends with at their next dinner party. So in a nutshell, what makes Albania so special?
Well, it's that diversity. We've said it before, but it's true. The landscapes, the history, the culture,
Yeah, you've got it all.
towering mountains for hiking, breathtaking beaches for relaxing,
Right.
ancient ruins, vibrant cities, traditional villages.
The food, too.
Oh, yeah. Don't forget the food.
Amazing. It's like a sampler platter of European experiences, but all in one country.
It really is. And it's all wrapped up in this warm, welcoming culture where hospitality is key and traditions are important, you know?
It sounds incredible.
It is. It's a destination that has something for everyone. History buffs, nature lovers, foodies, anyone looking for an adventure.
Well said. So, to all our listeners out there, if you're looking for a destination that will surprise you, challenge you, inspire you, and create those lasting memories, Albania is calling.
It really is. And remember, the more you explore, the more you discover, the more you'll fall in love with it.
Beautifully put. And on that note, we'll say goodbye. Happy travels, everyone. And until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.